Hello, hello. Claire, how you doing?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hold on, I've got
Well,
something playing in the background.
yes,
One
you
sec.
do.
No, there's always something with me. Sorry. Sorted. Hello.
It's
Hold
not
on,
sorted.
I've got something playing in the background. One sec. No, there's always something with me. Sorry. Sorted. Hello. Hold on, I've got something playing in the background. One sec. No, there's always something with me. Have I got it sorted now? Oh my gosh, I've got this on so many channels. All right, here I am. I'm sorry.
Now you got it sorted. Now I don't hear it no more.
God, it's always one thing with me.
Right?
Sorry. Hello, how are you?
Hi,
How are you?
good, good. Did you like the new intro?
I loved it. Was it new?
Yes, you didn't even see it then, did you?
I heard it playing.
We got two of them. Here, I'll play the second one again.
Play it.
Oh, I have to remove us, I think. There you go.
Oh, very smooth. I like it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I thought so. We don't have anybody here yet,
Yeah, I
so
love it.
let's chit chat until I already shared it out. But yeah,
Awesome.
I made that the other day.
Oh, don't
Wednesday, I
play
think.
up on
Hey, there's
me
Amy.
now.
Hey, Amy. And John. Hi, John. So yeah.
Hey, Ying. Hey, John.
Yeah, so no dead air.
No.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Paul Bernardo and what's her name? Karla
Karla
Homolka.
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 Yes.
In other words, the Ken and Barbie killers, the Scarborough Rapists, the schoolgirl murderers. I mean, they've got a lot of names apparently.
Yeah, there have been multiple associations, I suppose.
And we have left Australia and the United States and have gone to Canada.
Yeah, boy. Where are you going to crucify the Canadians tonight?
We're in Ing's hometown. Yeah. So Ing says that he was going to research and read up on this. So
Good.
I don't know if he did, but I have not spoken to him today since this morning. Ing, did you do your homework?
Yeah. Yeah, Ing, did you? Did you really?
Yeah, Ing. All right. So who is Paul Bernardo? He was born in Scarborough, which is in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come up if you need me. Okay, Ing, give me 1 second. Um, his father's name was Kenneth. His mother's name was Marilyn. Now, just a little bit of background about Kenneth and Marilyn. Kenneth was facing charges for peeping and pedophilia, and he was abusive to the family. He also molested Paul's sister.
That's Paul's dad, right?
Yes.
You're saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know that wasn't his paternal?
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. Don't jump ahead.
Sorry. At least I'm consistent.
Yeah, this is true. And then the mother, Marilyn, she was depressed. She would leave the family unattended to visit the relatives, and she often retreated to the basement. Paul had no idea. He was oblivious to his broken home. So, I do have it in here about the. Yeah, we're getting to that. Okay. Okay, now Paul. Let me get the link to Ing real quick before I go any further. Copied. Didn't want to lose my spot there while I was reading. Because I don't have a good memory. I have to keep all this in writing.
I'm the same, except I think you've done exceptionally well, better than me on this one. I have 5 pages of notes.
Yeah, but you've got the notes about the jurisdictions and things, which I don't. I just have the basics. So, but anyway,
that's cool.
Yeah,
great background though. I didn't delve into that as much as you had. So
yeah. All right, now let's talk about Paul. He was described as a happy child. He had a compulsive disorder. No, I don't know if you want to call it compulsive, but he liked making fires. That he learned to do that in Boy Scouts when he was 10 years old. Now, here's the part where you chimed in on. When he was 16, he was told that his father wasn't his biological father, that he was conceived as a result of an affair. Paul would call his mother a slut and a whore, and she would reciprocate by calling him a bastard. So, yeah.
Yes, she was very abusive towards him.
Yeah. She even...
And
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, one of the things you said, which I had not heard about his father, about the peeping Tom type situation.
Yeah. Yeah, he was head
even though he wasn't, Paul wasn't his biological son.
Right.
Who progressed to that? Who started their little journey of criminal life by peeping on the neighbors?
Right.
Paul. Right?
Right.
Well, that's a bit weird.
Ing, I sent you the link in Discord. I don't know. Oh, there you are. Chrissy.
There he is.
He's got Chrissying. He's
Chrissying.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey,
Good.
how you going?
So I kept my avatar this time because it's a Canadian crime, and this school should be on every police car in Ontario because they screwed it up so bad. But we will get into this. I'll sit back.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Damn it. You know, when you think you've seen it all, you come across a case like this. Never heard of it. I love true crime. I live in Canada. Never heard of this one. But it's a doozy. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
There's so much worse things going on in Canada. Probably that's why. But I've never seen anything like it.
I just want to know what you were doing back in '88. You were busy raising kids, probably. And
that was my first time I came to Canada.
Crazy.
That's when I met my wife. And then she moved to Germany in 1990. And then in 97, we moved here. Back. For her, it was back to Canada.
Oh, okay.
So I missed that.
So you may not even be in the country.
No, I wasn't in the country back then. No, I wasn't. But I can see it was called the crime of the century in Canada. I actually agree now, having seen all the details. Yeah. It's never seen anything like it. But let go on with your introduction.
That's super crazy.
Yeah. All right. So his first girlfriend, which was Nadine Brammer, abandoned him for one of his friends, which I guess struck a chord because of his parents. That really set him off. Said she was tired of his controlling behavior, and he retaliated by burning everything that she had ever given to him. So that's part of the Boy Scout thing there. After he graduated from the Collegiate Institute, he was employed by Amway, which is an American company. He loved the polemic.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, Amway. sell a lot of different things. Amway did. Laundry detergents, you name it, they had it. He purchased books and tapes from motivational speakers.
Just, Chrissy, isn't Amway in a sense a pyramid scheme?
Yes.
Because it's no longer around as much as it was because of it, but it has to do with deception and lying to people. And
that's what polemic means. Yeah. The polemic sales approach, which is, disputing and lying and stuff like that, which Paul was into. So, but
I didn't know that part of his background. That's interesting.
But he purchased all kinds of books and tapes from different motivational speakers. Excuse me, and he applied their lessons when he and his friends met women in bars, seducing many. So, this all started really young for him. And then before attending the university,
he's quite smart.
Before attending university, he developed dark sexual fantasies. He wanted to build a virgin farm where he could breed girls to rape, enjoyed forcible anal sex, and degrading his dates in public. So he's a sick somebody. Y'all have anything to add before I keep going?
Motherfucker. No.
Either one of you?
No, this is good.
Sorry, I do. The thing is, when he went to the college, or was it the university in Toronto, when he went there, he had many girlfriends that tapped out because he was violent sexually. Like, it was a red flag for everyone at that time. He didn't, because when you said that he would degrade them in public, he didn't even want to keep it a secret that he owes those women,
Yeah, that was my next sentence, by the way.
Yes.
It said over time, his relationships became shorter, and Bernardo would frequently date more than one woman at a time. In all cases, he was abusive and threatened to kill his girlfriends if they spoke to other people about treatment he subjected them to. So,
didn't know that detail, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But it was known what I'm saying,
I just think that he was like the sweet boy next door, and no one even though he did all these things, I don't think anyone thought he had the potential of what he ended up doing, I think.
Right.
But in retrospect, we can sit back and go, oh, yeah, that was a telling sign. That was crazy. Oh, my God. But at the time, with his little boyish looks and everything, it's just like, oh, well, everyone goes through phases and whatever. But this guy, I mean, he held on to it. Yeah, that's my comment.
So,
yeah.
All right. In 1986, 2 women were granted restraining orders against him for making obscene phone calls. So he not only did it in person, but he did it over the phone as well.
Wow.
In 1987, when he graduated from college, he got a job as a junior accountant in Price Waterhouse.
Wow, that's a big company.
Yeah, and then his dating slowed down after one of his last girlfriends, which was Jennifer Thompson, threatened to go to the police, I guess, about his abuse and his threats and things like that. Then in May of that year, he raped 2 women and attempted another rape in July. So this was all right out of college and his first, real good job. And yeah,
that struck me too. It got progressively worse. Every act, it was building up.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that point, Chrissy. And you know what? Just to add something, knowing and agreeing with what Ing just said, it reminds me of the first case we did with the
Mr.
Melbourne.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because
they knew when they were tracking him or investigating that it was investigating. Thank you. Shout out to Casper Site. Never going to watch us, but hey, Casper Site, we love you. But it had to escalate. The satisfaction just wasn't enough. So it just kept escalating and escalating it.
Yep.
To catastrophic levels on this situation. But you're right, Ing. He just kept escalating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was never enough anymore. He always needed more to satisfy his urges.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So that's the background on Paul. Now we're going to move on to Karla. And then we'll get into the meat of the crimes.
You know, one little thing about the both of them.
Huh.
They were both, I think, was Paul the youngest of 3 boys and Karla was the eldest of 3 girls? Was that right?
I think so. I know there was.
Yeah.
I know there was siblings.
Mm.
Yeah, I think Karla was the oldest. She had 2 younger sisters, Tammy and I think Lisa.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Paul was the youngest of 3 boys, I think. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
All right. Excuse me. So Karla was born in 1970 in Port Credit, Ontario. Her parents were, I say Carol. I don't know how to pronounce a Czech name. It's Karel, so Karel maybe.
Mm.
And Dorothy Seeger. Her father,
Carl.
Carl. Carl.
No, I'm
Okay.
joking. I'm joking. It's
Well, her father.
It's a Walking Dead thing. I'll stop.
He was a traveling salesman. He was a Czechoslovakian immigrant. He was an alcoholic. He would insult her mother, and sisters during his drunk episodes, and he took on a mistress. So there's another thing they have in common: the mistress. The mother had the affair with his father,
Mm-hmm.
and this one's father had an affair with a woman.
Common trait. Yeah.
Yes. The mother was also from Ontario, Dorothy. She was a geriatric clinic employee, and when she found out about the mistress, instead of divorcing or whatever, she proposed a threesome with the mistress.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, in order to keep the marriage afloat. She wanted him to be happy, so she wanted to keep the mistress on as a threesome type deal.
And that's interesting because at one point, like in the videos I looked through, the ones you sent me, thank you, Claire. One guy did say that he doesn't know why he would even start doing it. So he had a turbulent upbringing. Not everyone caught up to that, because there was one profiler who said, I don't know why he would end up like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely had they both did. They both had a turbulent upbringing.
Yes.
Can I interject?
Yep.
We were just talking about Karla, right? And Karla's
Karla,
upbringing.
yeah.
Yeah. And isn't that interesting, Chrissy? Because you've done a lot more of a deep dive than I have into their backgrounds. But the mom is doing everything she wants or thinks she can do to please the husband. And what did Karla end up doing?
Exactly.
Right. That's freaky.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that's pretty
Holy
good.
shit.
Well, since so many profilers went on record on it, didn't one say he actually thinks she's worse than Paul?
Yes.
Like,
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
All right. So she had 2 younger sisters, which I already mentioned, Lori and Tammy. And they would all seek refuge in the basement when the father got drunk because he would, abuse them and things like that. So Karla was described as a bright child, a good student, but was stubborn and domineering. She was unable to compromise with other children, and she would speak her mind to the adults.
Mm-hmm.
She had depressive episode after she began to attend Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School, where she would dress in non-conforming manner, cut herself, and claim false suicide attempts as a way to seek attention. And then later on, she developed the sadistic and masochistic fantasies. Yeah. So
if she was domineering, though, does that sound like she's a rollover when she says, "Oh, he made me do it. He made me do it"? Does she have?
She's far more calculated than she lets on.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. She may have been domineering then, but I guess as she got older, when she developed the sadistic and masochistic ways, she decided she wasn't as domineering. She was more of a submissive. So,
Sure.
And she got a part-time job at a pet store while she was in high school. And after graduating in 1988, she was hired by Thorold Veterinary Clinic as a full-time vet tech. So that's her background and her family situation. So there was abuse in both families.
Yeah.
And Karla's and Paul's.
And that career path she chose is how she met Paul.
Yeah, and we're getting to how they met next.
Yep.
The alcohol play was a big. Hey, Rick. The alcohol was a big role in their upbringing as well. Sorry, I was modding Rick. I can't do two things at once.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You're not a boomer. I'm a boomer.
I get easily distracted. Look, squirrel.
I have problems when doing one thing. Chris is already doing fine.
Okay. Yeah, so how they met. It was October. They met in a hotel restaurant when they both were attending a seminar, a pet store conference.
Right.
He was 23 and she was 17. They were instantly attracted to each other and had sex that same night with their friends present. So not only did they...
That's a detail I didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew they did that night, but...
Yeah.
Well, let's all watch.
And then Paul would drive to see Karla twice a week. And then he slowly started to control her life, deciding how she would dress, what style, what she would eat, what she would believe. And then he often called her fat and ugly. And that's,
can I ask a question?
Yeah, when you finish this one statement. And that's a typical abusive thing to do. You cut them down to where they rely on you and they want to change for you. And that's all they believe, that she'll believe, if he kept doing it, she would believe that she's fat and ugly, and she would stay with him because no one else would want her.
Yeah.
So, okay, go ahead. What was you going to say?
My question is directed at Ing, because, he did travel, and was it an 80-mile round trip he would do twice a week?
Yeah, it was a couple-hour drive, yeah.
I was just going to say, is that a big drive, like, for pussy?
Only if you want to rape it, quite frankly,
Yeah.
You have to look further and longer. He was dedicated on what he was doing from the beginning, I have to tell you. So
I have
a lot of
groomer
stalking.
vibes. Yeah, groomer vibes. Like, he's grooming the hell out of this girl.
Yep.
Yes, but like the footage, it was 6 tapes. Like, I don't know, one tape, at least 3 hours. The thing is, most of the tapes were actually them scouting. Like just
jumping ahead.
Oh, really?
You're jumping ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, but that's part of it.
That's my job.
It's not like what the scouting.
No,
I'm
jumping
saying,
ahead.
Oh, I'm way better than you on that one, Carol.
We're still talking about how they met. We're not getting into any of those details yet.
Okay, we'll bring it up later, Claire.
Yeah, you guys can talk all you want about that later.
I'm taking notes so I won't forget it.
Okay, good. So Karla easily submitted to and encouraged his sexual behavior. She would make self-improvement lists, and although it didn't end their relationship, he was not happy that she was not a virgin, which brings us to the idea of her sister, which we're not there yet, but we're getting there. Yep. He resumed rapes in December. So before this, he had already, how many you said, Claire?
He had 7 by spring 88.
Yeah. So 7. So then he resumed the rapes in December. By March of 88, the police set up a task force to apprehend the so-called Scarborough Rapes, which they know now, but it was actually him. But the investigation went nowhere despite the amount of physical evidence and the existence of a composite sketch that wasn't shown to the public. You know what I just realized? I haven't been showing any pictures.
Yeah, well, if you want to get a picture, this is the one thing about
that's Paul.
His attacks and his rape attacks is that he always attacked them from behind, and so it was very difficult for people to get to that composite picture. Eventually, they did, but
yeah. And here's the sketch.
But didn't you find it stunning that even though the girls said that they didn't see the face, they thought he was young and good looking? Mm-hmm. Did you pick that up? Because that was in the police report. Like, it was of the women that came in and said, I got attacked. I didn't see him, but most of them pointed out he's young and good looking. That's
young,
mind-boggling to me.
And light-colored hair.
That's
and
right.
The other theme,
and
the other theme was the degrading things he made them say. They were the 4 common things of the 7 attacks on women at the time that they all, before they got the composite picture and everything, that's because they didn't get that till May 1990. But I don't want to jump ahead. Mm-hmm.
You guys already did.
Okay.
That's okay.
Don't make me jump back in my condition. Go ahead, Chrissy. Go ahead.
All right. So Karla was aware of what Paula was doing during this whole time period. And there was even allegations from one of the victims that she was present when she was attacked and recorded it on a camera. But those were ignored by the police. Finally, May 1990, the police decided to show the composite sketch to the public, launching a massive number of tips. At the time, Paul quit his job and got his money smuggling cigarettes across the U.S.-Canadian border. Friends and previous girlfriends of Paul saw the released sketch and tried to contact the police, but the officers were overwhelmed by other tips and were unable to follow up on them. And
I found that
what you were saying earlier, Claire. So go ahead.
I just found that crazy that his own friends rang in and said, "Oh, I know who that is."
Yeah. Well, that looks like this person. We know him.
And I'm going to give him his name. We probably, because we're friends, we know that he's done this shit to other girlfriends. Oh,
right.
That's exactly him. But you're right, they were overwhelmed, which is another thing that links back to what Ing was saying earlier about there's so many holes in this case that coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in November, 2 detectives visited him and took blood, saliva, hair samples from him, but they wouldn't even be tested for 2 years.
Right.
Now, I don't know if that's because of back then they didn't have that technology or they were just lazy. I don't know.
This is where I come in. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
When the Scarborough Rapist made the news every day for several years and adding up all those women that weren't murdered but attacked, they did 100 DNA tests on people. They didn't know who to look for. So, like, if someone was on the record having some, being a sexual deviant, and here's the thing. Not only did they get DNA samples, they tested them right away. Nothing came of it. And they dropped the ball at that point because when all those friends called in after seeing the sketch and said, I think I know, the police got a DNA test from Paul, and it was on the shelf for 2 years. They tested 100 DNA tests right away, but not Paul's.
Yeah, because
mind-boggling.
It's crazy, and it's a little bit like something I was going to say to Chrissy that I noticed, like the Soham thing we did last week. he wasn't registered per se, so they went, in this case, like Ing just said, 100 people that they knew in the area and whatever. He was just this unassuming accountant. No one thought anything of it. And so, and it just got put on the shelf, and it just got in the queue to be tested at some point. Unfortunately, it took 2 years, and people lost their lives.
That's what I think. They spent so much money at that point that they said, you know what, we can't get it anywhere, because it's on the shelf, not because they don't have chemists. It costs money, each test, and time. They no longer had that on their radar, and they dropped the ball at that point.
Yeah.
The police was very, attentive in the beginning, because his 2 first murder victims, one was from Scarborough, and he dumped her in Burlington. His second was in Burlington, dumped it in Scarborough.
Oh. You're going ahead.
Sorry, my bad. Hey. Oh shit, I didn't know my mic was on. I was just talking to myself.
Yeah, whatever.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go ahead. I'm sticking to a timeline here.
Love you, Chrissy.
You too. Okay, so in 1990, he became increasingly obsessed with Karla's 15-year-old sister, Tammy. That's Tammy. He would spy on her, and then he hatched a plan to rape her with Karla's assistance. Karla would make sure Tammy remained a virgin until then. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was 2 attempts to do this. The first attempt was during a summer trip in July. Karla laced her meal with Valium that she stole from work, but Tammy woke up 1 minute after that, preventing the rape to be carried out. That was the first attempt. And of course, since she was with the Valium, she didn't know any different. She didn't know what was going on, or that something was getting ready to happen, or if anything happened at all. So, and then the second.
Where are their parents? If a 13, I know where my children are every second of their life since they are born. If one of them passes out with Valium at the age of 13, I know.
Well, it was a summer trip, so I'm not sure if the parents were even there. Maybe
were the parents there?
I don't know.
So why let her go with people? I would never let my
family. Older sister.
Family, yeah. The guys are family.
All right. And then the second attempt was in December, following a Christmas dinner with the family. Now, in this instance, the family, her parents were upstairs asleep. They were in bed. Karla described it as gifting her sister's virginity to Paul for Christmas.
Yeah. Sorry. Are we at December 23rd, 1990?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they spiked Tammy's drink with sleeping pills this time. Once she was unconscious, they undressed her, and Bernardo proceeded to rape her. Karla held a rag soaked with an anesthetic. Hold on. Halothane.
It was not sleeping pills. It was an animal tranquilizer. That's different.
That's not what the thing said that I read, but okay. They spiked her drink with sleeping pills. Once she was unconscious, they undressed her, and Paul proceeded to rape her. Karla held a rag soaked with anesthetic halothane, also stolen from work, over Tammy's nose and mouth. Then Tammy began to vomit and stopped breathing. After failing to revive Tammy, they dressed her, moved her into her own room, cleaned up the evidence, and then called 911. Tammy had a visible chemical burn on her face, but her death was ruled accidental because of the drinking. They said that.
Can you believe that?
Alcohol poisoning. Yeah.
Can you believe that?
And I'm going to show this picture, but turn your head if you don't want to see it. And I'm not going to leave it up long. That was at the hospital with the chemical burn, and they just dismissed that. They didn't even, they didn't even.
Said it happened when they tried to revive her.
Yeah.
Yeah, COPPA burn.
But here's just the thing: when you said, like, the rag what was it, Drumston? She got it from work.
Howell
She
thing.
was a veterinarian.
Yeah,
The
that is so
sleeping pills were animal tranquilizers. Like that's a step above any sleeping pill.
cool. Okay.
And
Yeah, it's not retinol. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe that picture though. How they just diss that as oh well, it's a chemical burn. Like
was there a
sorry,
blood test?
a carpet burn.
Can
Yeah,
you find out she has sleeping pills and something else in her system? They all said it's alcohol. They didn't even
said it was
test her
because of the
blood.
alcohol.
She was smelling like it, probably.
Yeah, because they spiked her drink.
Never
Anyway,
did a blood test. Never.
nope, they sure didn't. But at the funeral, Paul was caught stroking Tammy's hair as she laid in an open casket. And in 1993, the exhumation revealed that the couple also placed a photo of theirs in the casket. How sick is that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
That's
that.
so sick.
Yeah.
Well, he put out all the signs. All the flags were there.
Mm-hmm.
Your own sister though. This is like there's so much more to come. That is just so wrong. But your own sister? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Far out. Talk about level of control. What?
Right.
Anyway, that's my comment.
Right,
you don't want to know what I think, but go ahead.
After that, they moved to Port
Dalhousie. Yeah, I wondered how you were going to say that because when I saw it, I'm like, as an Aussie, I go, oh, that's Tallahassee. But yeah, you're right.
Dalhousie.
Yep.
Where they filmed themselves while role-playing sexual encounters between Paul and Tammy. Karla played the part of her sister and wore her clothes to reinforce the fantasy. So and that's where these tapes that were kept right here on the nightstand came into play.
How sick is this?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
It is very sick.
So sick.
So now we're in June of 1991. Paul invited a teenager that he befriended at work. Karla invited a teenager that she befriended at work and they just called her Jane Doe, they didn't give her name, to their new home.
Because now they've moved out.
I'm sorry?
Right, into their own house.
Yeah,
It was 1 month after the sister died.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier when I said the Port Dalhousie, they moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had their own house.
Am I wrong? Didn't the parents ask them to move out so they can mourn the dead daughter? Like they asked them to move out at that point.
I don't know. I didn't read that part.
Oh.
Don't know. I mean, I believe you. I'm just saying it's possible.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
I know they were saving up to
in the second video.
Yeah, I know they were saving up to get their own place, but I reckon the heat got on them once the sister died, and they're like, "Well, we better get out of here.
Yep.
We need a private location for our sex slaves." But I'll stop now.
Yeah. All right. So they got their own place. She met this girl at work. Hey, Brutal. Hold on 1 second. I got to add his mod wrench. There you go. All right. Met this girl. They called her Jane Doe at the trial. They laced her drink with halcyon. Once she passed out, Karla stated that she was a gift to Paul. They filmed themselves as they raped her. The next day, she woke up. She felt a little nausea, but left without realizing that she had been raped. So she survived it that time. Well, she survived it. And then this was on June 7th in 91. On June 15th, Paul was out stealing license plates to use in his smuggling business, and then he met 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey, who'd been locked out of her home in a punishment for missing her curfew. There's their marriage. And there's
I'm just going to say g'day, Brutal. Hey, great to see you. I don't get to say hi, Brutal, very often. Sorry.
Yeah, talk for a second. I need to find this.
So we are at the wedding now, I assume. Now.
No. Stop.
No?
Because we're at Leslie Mahaffey, which has a connection to the wedding, by the way. Like that's coming up. But yeah.
No, but can I say that the parents didn't want it because it was very lavish? Like.
Yeah, well, I think they liked him as a son-in-law, but poor Leslie.
Yeah, that's Leslie.
And there is a connection with her and the
She
wedding.
was 14 as well.
You're jumping ahead again. How dare you?
Sorry,
How very well done.
All right, 14-year-old Leslie, who'd been locked out of her home as punishment for missing her curfew.
Yes.
She was offered and accepted a cigarette, and Paul led her to his car. He pulled a knife on her, blindfolded her, and drove her to his home. He told Karla they had a playmate. They also filmed themselves raping and torturing Leslie. Leslie said her blindfold slipped, so they murdered her.
Okay, can I interject?
Mm-hmm.
All I wanted to say in my notes on this one. So this was the 15th of June, 91.
Yes.
He presented her as a sex slave. But all I keep thinking, and now I'm going to show my age right now, but it's like Yul Brynner, whatever you do, don't smoke. And if she hadn't accepted that cigarette, do you think she might be alive right now?
Possibly.
So sad. So sad.
Maybe
Smoking
if he didn't come, he
literally.
would knock her out. He was there. He was ready.
Yeah.
And we don't know. It might.
If it wouldn't have been her, it would have been someone else. So.
Yeah. Like
True.
He was ready to do this.
Smoking kills people. Just don't smoke.
So, all right. They kept the body in the basement while they dined with the family upstairs. Later, they dismembered her, encased her remains in cement blocks, and threw the blocks in Lake Gibson. There's
8 cement blocks. Yeah.
There's the blocks. They were found on June 29th, the same day that Paul and Karla got married.
There you go, Ing. That's your connection.
Yeah. They found the
blocks.
Well,
I thought I heard that the parents didn't want a lavish wedding like this, and she went ahead anyway. Wasn't it at the Niagara Falls?
Niagara.
Like it was a big wedding.
Niagara, you mean?
I know. Listen to the German in the chat. I even know it's Niagara.
Niagara.
Any water that falls in Germany, we just call water. Where does the Niagara come from?
Doodle said that's a good point, Claire. Who knows what could have happened by one decision? Exactly.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just don't smoke, people. That's all. Smoke weed.
Light one up.
Don't have cigarettes.
All right. Anything else about Leslie?
No, but how long did they keep her? Like for 2 days, I think.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now you're jumping ahead, Claire. Damn it.
That wasn't Leslie that they kept for days.
It wasn't.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, is the next one. So at this point, by the way, in my notes, because I'm so committed to this. This was actually their second murder, if you count Tammy.
Yes.
And 11 rapes.
Okay.
Just keeping a tally.
I thought it was 12, but I take your word for it. At that time, yeah.
They initially had him as a Scarborough rapist.
Yes.
As 7, and then they added 4 to that. Maybe later in the case they added another one, but yeah, at this timeline of what happened to her.
Your math is right. Yes.
Thanks.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay, so in August of the same year, they invited Jane Doe back over. Jane also stopped breathing while they raped her, but she was successfully revived. Karla actually called 911, but phoned them back to say the crisis had been solved, and the ambulance en route was recalled without further inquiry.
Ambulance.
Which I don't know about in Canada, obviously not in Canada, maybe now, but back then this didn't happen. I don't know about Australia, but over here, you can't just call 911 back and say, "Never mind, I don't need you."
There's
They are
no
You can't
such
hear.
thing.
No.
come
And
to
it
your
shouldn't
home
be. Yes,
to double check to make sure you're okay.
absolutely.
So back then,
Because anyone could call back. The victim calls
Exactly.
first,
Mm-hmm,
and then she's murdered,
mm-hmm.
and someone else says, "Hey, it's all good over here." Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get that either. This, I said, law enforcement dropped the ball so many times, but I won't jump
yeah,
back.
that was way back in the 90s. So who knows?
And over here, once you make a call, they are obligated by law to follow it up.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter how many calls you
even
get
on
after
hang-up
it.
calls, you have a little 3 or 4-year-old that is learning to dial the phone, and they push
Yes.
911, and the 911 operator will call you and say, "Hey, someone just called," and they're like, "Oh, no, that was my child," and they're like, "Oh, well, we're still sending an officer to your house.
Yes.
We need to double check this."
And if it happens to me, I would be glad they come, because I know if something happens, it's safe because the police is on top
Right.
of it.
Right, and that's how it is
Well,
here.
they are
So
now.
they would definitely come.
Not back
So-
then.
Well,
No, obviously not. So Paul and Karla abducted a 15-year-old by the name of Kristen French as she exited the Holy Cross Catholic Secondary School, which makes this even worse,
Yeah.
leaving a number of witnesses. They
Yeah,
raped
this is great.
and tortured her for 3 days, and then they strangled her with the same cord they used to kill Leslie. To this day, Paul claims that Karla is the... What is all that noise? That Karla...
Sorry, that's me. There's wind. I've just got to turn my mic off. It's not a
that's
fart.
fine. That's fine.
It's windy.
Just sounded like you were rubbing against something, but you're cool.
I thought you fell over, but
Yeah. To this day, Paul claims that Karla is the one that murdered Kristen with the rubber mallet that she was equipped with to guard their victim while he was out getting them food. Kristen was never blindfolded. She was forced to ingest large amounts of alcohol, made to watch the recordings of Leslie's rape, and made
this is
to act
getting worse.
in a
Oh my
submissive
God.
manner to Paul.
My God.
Kristen became confrontational, calling Bernardo a bastard, which struck him because his mother used to call him that, so that really struck a chord with him, and told him, "I don't know how your wife can stand being around you." So she was severely beaten and died. The couple left the body in their home while they dined with the family again. They just loved keeping them and dining with the family.
Yes.
And then they washed Kristen's body, cut her hair, and then threw her remains in a ditch in Burlington, close to the cemetery where Leslie was buried. Yeah, that's 3 days
See, and
of torture.
Yeah, that was the point then, when there was a police officer who picked up on it, that one was from Scarborough, dumped in Burlington, and one was from Burlington, dumped in Scarborough. And they made the connection. That's when they started the DNA tests, 100, to get that guy. That was the beginning.
If you don't stop giving information ahead of time, I'm going to mute
Chris is going to ban you.
Oh, you should. Yeah, you should ban me. And, okay, before I leave, I want to thank my mom and God.
Don't leave. Don't leave.
No, you ask when I supposed to speak. That's how we do it. I feel way better, Leslie. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No,
I hate this case. I love it.
Yeah, it's good you've got the background, though. That's awesome that you're bringing it.
All right. Paul was interviewed by 2 police officers a month later. But they considered him an unlikely suspect even after he admitted to have been interviewed previously in a connection to the Scarborough Rapes. Soon after, Paul and Karla solicited to change their name to Teal, the surname of a serial killer in the 1988 film Criminal Law.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Was that what was his name?
I don't even know.
Who played the actor in that movie? Was it? It wasn't Kevin Bacon. Was it Kevin Bacon? I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yes, you're right. They tried to change their name.
I actually seen pictures while I was getting these pictures, and I can't remember now.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin Bacon. I'm getting McConaughey vibes from Wolf of Wall Street, but I think it was Kevin Bacon that was.
You can speak now.
Oh, Ing, you can speak.
It was called Criminal Law with Gary Oldman and Kevin Bacon. Yes,
It
There you
was
go,
Kevin
Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on Kristen? You guys that I missed or that you want to comment on? Or
Actually,
there are a lot of things I learned I didn't even get when I researched. This is even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
I might be jumping ahead here, but with her, thank God there were witnesses, albeit a few red herrings. But with her, at least witnesses came forward and saw a couple. And they saw a car. Maybe not the right car, but they saw a car.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't save her, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it didn't save her.
Right.
But it started unraveling for them.
Mm-hmm.
This was the point where I think it started unraveling. Besides, everyone's called and said his name and all the rest. Like, this was the point where people witnessed it, and even though they got the wrong car and whatever's, but I don't want to jump ahead, but
they said it was a silver Corvette and it was a golden Nissan. And Paul was actually making fun of it. Say, look how dumb the police is.
Yeah.
And already he knows he's given his DNA and thinks he's gotten away from it for 2 years.
Yes. Yeah,
So he's reveling in this shit. All right.
Okay. Back to this.
Was it a beige Camaro that they thought it was? But
I don't
I
know.
think that's what. Yeah,
according
that's what
to
they
the
put
police
out.
record, it was a silver Corvette that the witnesses saw, but she was driven away in a golden Nissan. So,
Okay.
Hey, Angel.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're on the arrests. So, anything else to add before we get to the arrests? No?
All I have is jumping ahead, but go ahead.
Okay, well, we're not jumping ahead. Mute yourself.
Yes, no, we will not.
All right. On December 27th, Paul savagely beat Karla with a flashlight, leaving her with bruises on her limbs, a broken rib, and 2 black eyes.
You got that photo? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, she returned to work January the 4th and tried to pass her injuries as the result of a traffic accident. Her co-workers did not believe her and alerted her parents, who insisted on taking her to the hospital. Once there, Karla claimed to be a battered spouse and filed charges against Paul, who was briefly arrested. By sheer coincidence, here you go, Ing, the samples that Paul had given 2 years earlier were tested right around this time, positively identifying him as the Scarborough rapist. So,
Great picture, Chrissy.
you like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Karla moved to Brampton with her aunt and uncle and told them that Paul was both the Scarborough rapist and the killer of Mahaffey and French.
Oh, yeah. This is can I say something?
Yeah.
Is this when she starts singing like a bird?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the part that where you were referencing earlier about making a deal with the devil.
Which connects back to one of our other true crime Australian ones. So, yeah. Deals with the devil everywhere.
Right. Is this true crime? Yes, Angel, it is. Okay, so In February, she sought full immunity from the prosecution in exchange for a cooperation, but this was denied. Instead, Karla was given a week to accept a 12-year prison term for manslaughter or face charges for 3 murders, one of them being her sister Tammy, whose case they reopened, as well as other crimes. Karla took the deal and testified against Bernardo in his trial, which took place in 1995.
So at this point, she's part of her plea deal was, oh, go get the videotapes. It's all there. Complete full confession, blaming him of everything. Battered wife syndrome. This is another case of what you know retrospectively, but I'm not jumping ahead, but she just, like, I don't know, under the bus him so badly. And I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that beating.
No.
But woman, we'll get to it about her involvement. And she's like, yeah. And oh my God, I got so many comments. I feel like Ing right now because
you will be fine.
because of the deal she made, and then there was a suppression in the media, but I know that's coming up, and it just anyway, I'll be quiet now. All right. So much.
I'm gonna have to start sending you guys my timelines so that you have them.
All right, go. Sorry. Look at him.
No, I see him. On
all
September
I got is my looks.
On September the 1st, Paul was sentenced to life in prison without parole for at least 25 years. In other words, he has to serve 25 in order to be eligible for parole. He was kept segregated from other inmates because of the threats made to him. A group of 5 prisoners tried to storm the segregated area and had been dispersed by riot police.
Well,
so they wanted to get to him. Let me see if this is the right picture. Yeah, that's him in his cell there, with his foot up on the toilet. Okay. Because of his official status as a dangerous offender, it is considered unlikely that he will ever be granted parole. Karla's plea deal was severely criticized in Canadian society, especially after the tapes depicting the couple's rapes were shown at Paul's trial.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Some prosecutors declared that had they known what was in the tapes, they would have never proposed the deal.
Correct.
Paul's first lawyer purposefully hid most of the tapes for 17 months and was later charged with obstruction of justice, but he was acquitted. So how you like them apples?
Yeah, them apples, they're so fucking sour. They suck.
Yeah, but
that's bullshit.
In the States, Chrissy, if someone lied before making a deal and it comes out later, can't you put that charge on top? I don't get that.
Yeah, the deal's off. Well, if you lie, the deal's off.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, anything to add for that part?
No,
the only thing I really have left right now,
and I agree.
I really have left right now is Karla's life after she was released in prison in 2005.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that goes to what I was just mentioning earlier. Like, this outraged the Canadians, like, because she got this deal and it wasn't publicized. And one of the YouTube things I watched about this case was the media was so enraged because they could cover what happened in court and what she did, but it wasn't publicized. So this woman, who eventually ends up being, when they finally see the tapes, how involved she was, gets this stupid deal, and they can't go back. I saw his lawyer saying, well, she made a deal and we got to honor it. What? What? Yeah. Retrospectively, I think she's so much more responsible Like
Absolutely.
he had form and he's done this for a long time, but it's like she got on the gravy train. She's like, I like this. I'm pleasing you. This is all cool and I can do it all. And bitches out. Out.
Yep, she got out in 2005. She moved to the French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe in an attempt to avoid media scrutiny in 2007, where she married Thierry Bordalis, the brother of her lawyer, and had 3 children. The family later returned to Canada and settled in Montreal. So
this is a problem I have.
This is worse than I thought.
What's even worse is she worked at a school.
Yep.
You got to be.
No,
a Seventh-day Adventist school, or she was a volunteer there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, she
no criminal background check. And Chrissy, this goes to the Soham case last week as well about background checks with working with children.
Yep.
Like she and the school accepted her. Parents complained. Parents said, I don't want this woman working with my children. They're like, oh, well, we accept everybody here. It's all fine. What?
Yep.
What? Oh, I'll be quiet now. I'm enraged.
I'm with you.
I got one more. Oops. That's
I just think, by the way, I think we kind of skipped over Paul's trial, but after 4 months of the trial, the jury took 8 hours to find him guilty on every single charge.
I asked you if you had anything else to add.
Well, I just remembered it now. Hold on.
No, but
Ing's
interrupting me. Through all of it. They actually have to go through all of it. 8 hours is nothing for a jury.
Yeah. I think it was quite a convincing case. That's what I'm saying. 4 months trial.
But, like it said that he was eligible for parole after 25 years. Didn't the judge top it and said, I put you on the sex offender list, which means he can't get out?
Yes.
Did it just? Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
But he can reapply for parole in 2020, though.
In when?
2020. Yeah, he could reapply, but there's no chance that he's going to be able to.
Yes, I thought that was denied, but I would have to look it up again. But he wanted to appeal the whole case, and it was denied every time. So that will stick. Like he won't be eligible after 25 years because the judge put that on top that he is a sexual offender. So that means he won't have parole.
Now, there was another victim that Paul is suspected of having something to do with, and that's Elizabeth Bane. Her
what
boyfriend.
Year?
Whose boyfriend? What?
Her boyfriend.
I'm assuming in after 92 because it's listed after 92.
Yes.
But Elizabeth Bane, her boyfriend was Robert Boltovich, and he was wrongly convicted of the crime and spent 8 years in prison. A retrial in 2008 presented new evidence implicating Paul of the crime, although the retrial was rendered inconclusive. Now, her body
is he
was
out now, at least? After
this guy
8 years?
Yes.
Okay.
They never found her body, but they did find her car, and it had a blood stain in the back seat, but they never found her body. So she's still.
So as I said, progressive. It got worse and worse and worse. The last one, he actually got rid of the body. No one knows where she is. Paul would, I believe. But
yeah, well, in 1999, there was a disappearance of a teenager, Carrie Anderson, in St. Catharines.
Wow.
So they're also suspecting him of her. She was in and never been found as well. And there's also a string of rapes in Amherst, New York, that they're suspecting him of having something to do with.
Yeah, this is bigger than we know.
Absolutely.
All right, I've got a few points to make.
Go ahead.
Firstly, I think Ing touched on this as well, but similar to the Soham murders, the police jurisdictions did not communicate in this case. I know it was the 80s, early 90s. They did not talk. And how far away is bloody St. Catherine's and what is it? Scarborough, right? They're not two countries.
7 clicks, 7.
Yeah, they're not two countries. They're not states. Like, they're so close, but people weren't talking, and that was a key point in the Soho murders.
They started right, because in the beginning, one was killed in Scarborough and dumped in Burlington, and then in Burlington, the girl from Burlington was dumped in Scarborough, and they did pick up on it, but after that, dropped the ball.
Too late. Yeah,
yes.
They did. And then like the DNA, which we've already touched on, like he wasn't like a red alert person, so just put it on the shelf and we'll process it when we get to it. Bad move. And Karla, like, misleading the police without the videotapes and the whole for me, there's so many connections with the first case Chrissy and I talked about, and then the Soho murders last week. It's just like, have this analogy about Swiss cheese, which comes from my aviation background. And so there's like holes, and once those holes line up, like the bullet goes straight through. We can talk about it retrospectively, but it's a little bit crazy. And I hope the Canadian police are a lot better on their game after this, because they all sucked at this case.
They did.
And can I ask Ing a quick question? Have you heard of the Fifth Estate, Ing? He's on mute.
He said he was going to let his cat out in private chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a really good channel.
Yeah, I wanted to show this. Let me see if you can even see it. I don't know if you can or not. I can try to blow it up a little bit. Let's see.
Feeding his cat? How dare he?
Yeah. I'm back though.
I'm looking to see if I can blow it up. Down here.
Chrissy's doing something. I just wanted to ask you, Ing, have you heard of the channel The Fifth Estate?
Yes, I have.
It's really good for Canadian crime.
And yes. Actually, I watched it religiously.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome.
Here we go. The Scarborough Rapes. The following were raped by Bernardo alone as the Scarborough Rapist. In 1987, on May the 4th, there was an unnamed 21-year-old victim. May 14th, an unnamed 19-year-old victim. July 17th, an unnamed victim beat and attempted to rape, fled when she fought back. September 29th, an unnamed 15-year-old victim threatened with a knife, assaulted, bit her ear, and attempted to rape inside her home, fled when the victim's mother intervened. December the 16th, an unnamed 15-year-old victim. December 23rd, an unnamed 17-year-old victim, also sexually violated with a knife. And in 1988, on April the 18th, an unnamed 17-year-old victim. May 30th, an unnamed 18-year-old victim raped in, and then going to attempt at Mississauga, I don't know, instead of Scarborough. October the 4th, an unnamed victim stabbed twice in the thigh and buttock and attempted to rape, fled when she fought back and survived. November the 16th, an unnamed 18-year-old victim. December the 27th, an unnamed victim attempted to rape, fled when a neighbor spotted and pursued him. In 1989, June the 20th, an unnamed victim attempted to rape, fled when the victim fought back and screamed. August the 15th, unnamed 22-year-old victim stalked her since the previous night. November the 21st, an unnamed 15-year-old. December the 22nd, an unnamed 19-year-old. May 26, 1990, an unnamed 19-year-old. On May 25th, 1988, Bernardo had been intending to carry out another rape standing near a bus shelter when he was spotted by a uniformed Metro Toronto investigator who chased him away. That was all the Scarborough murders. There's so many more that he was not held accountable for.
And you know what? How many rape victims don't even go to the police?
Right.
I bet there are even more in between.
Yeah. I'm sure there's more attempts, and they just decided,
Yes.
well, he didn't get me, so I'm not going to say anything.
Or even if it's a full rape, some girls won't come forward because they feel so defamed and and dirty and disrespected. When if there's a wife beater in a house, how many wives say, you know what, he had a point because I made a mistake? Like they find a reason why it's my fault and not his. And if he goes only after he goes after teenagers.
Yeah.
They come home and tell the parents I got raped. What they're gonna say.
Yeah.
So there's more out there we don't know of, I believe.
You still here, Claire?
She went for a potty break.
Oh, okay. Schoolgirl murders. This is both their victims. They were raped and killed by Bernardo with the assistance of Homolka as the schoolgirl killer murders. December 24th, 1990 was Tammy, her sister. I don't need to read everything that happened. We just went over it. June 16th, 1991 was Leslie Mahaffey. April 19th, 1992 was Kristen French. And then the other one was the suspected victim, Elizabeth Bane, which I showed y'all the picture of. The following were confessed or suspected attacks by Bernardo. On specified dates and locations in 1986, up to 10 unnamed women, all raped by Bernardo, confessed in 2006. In 1991, January the 12th, they called her January Girl, which is a pseudonym by Bernardo, abducted by both and raped by Bernardo, was released. Bernardo confessed to the attack. April the 6th, an unnamed 14-year-old, possibly abducted and sexually assaulted by Bernardo alone, was released. June the 7th was Jane Doe. That's the one that Karla met at work. March 29th, 92, there was 2 unnamed sisters, stalked and videotaped by Paul alone. Note, there have been attempts to tie Bernardo to the murder of Elizabeth Bane, who disappeared on June 19th, 3 weeks after his last attack as a Scarborough rapist. Her body was never found, although her car was discovered 3 days after disappearance with a large blood stain in the back seat. I already said the rest of this.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to share.
Yeah. I thought that's interesting that he did something by himself.
Yeah, before he met her.
Yes.
He's been doing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
the 2 that you... Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Chrissy,
Going.
this one Jane Doe who was like employee at the same place as Karla. So I guess her parents didn't let the name out, which is a smart thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't
Because that would
release her name.
Every other girl, like the names out, even though it's not that people will say, hey, it's all your fault. But when you walk through the streets and may think that people know I'm a rape victim, it's a heavy load.
I have a comment on that because I didn't realize it was a work colleague of hers. I thought after Tammy's death that Paul and Karla encouraged Tammy's friends, or Karla enticed her friends to the house as well.
Yeah,
Because they were of similar
what went
age.
down that didn't end in a killing. You know what I mean? Like,
true. It's a crazy case, man.
there's so much more to it than we know. That's what we know. There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos of her, like, picking up a kid from school? Just like, oh, my attorney's going to come and get you.
Yeah, that's where I got those pictures from.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of her
Sorry,
standing outside the school.
I did a potty break, as
you
you Americans call it.
You were here for those. It was this one.
Oh, okay.
She was standing outside the school.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And then this one, when the paparazzi was all on her and she was holding her bag up saying, get away from me, get away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but 3 buttons unbuttoned.
Yeah.
cleavage. No, it's
Right.
I think. Well, she got off way too easy. There's no doubt.
Absolutely. No doubt.
I agree as well. And you know what I think? It's like she's conducting her life like, oh yeah, I made some stupid mistakes, but it's all good. I'll just lead another life. I
Well,
went
she
to
sees
jail,
herself
it's
as
all
a
done.
victim, Claire. She's a victim to herself.
She killed her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
I
not
don't
a
know
victim,
how she
so.
sleeps at night. I don't know how she walks this earth, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look at Kenneth's comment. Ian, I came across a documentary on Netflix regarding Karla Homolka, where Karla was named as the most hated woman in Canada. The documentary regarding the relationship with Luca Magnato is a different one. That's Don't Fuck With Cats. That's what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Don't Fuck With Cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I watch a lot of movies and I love gore and I love horror, but that guy freaked me out so much. This McNaughton guy. God damn it.
No, we kind of touched on it last week, Chrissy, but that case, like, that's the way they found him just blows my brain. Just like that
Who?
is Luca Magnato.
Oh no, we're not on that.
No, I'm just saying,
Not
if we
yet.
want to continue
yet.
to crucify the Canadian in the house, we could think about touching on that case, because that's like what we're talking about today is like 88, 90, whatever, but what they did and how they came to find this guy, it was
You can beat me
impressive.
to a pulp for it, because those mofos in Toronto, the law enforcement dropped the ball so bad. If they didn't have the FBI, I don't think we even would have found Paul and his wife. The FBI they called in the FBI at one point.
Yep, it was. Yep.
Mm.
And profilers. Yep. So yeah, they did good.
Yes. I just wish she was still behind bars and not out living a good life and with 3 kids and
hurting more people.
Because she's complicit. Look at that, what you've got on the screen now. 4th of October, unnamed victim, stabbed twice in the thigh and the buttocks, attempted rape, fled when she fought back.
I think you're behind because there's nothing on the screen right now.
Oh, sorry, I'm just looking outside.
She's half a road away, Chrissy. Just
I
cut
am
her
in
some
Australia.
slack.
Yeah.
Cut me some fucking
Didn't advance your screen or something.
Oh, no, I'm wondering what it was because
I'm
I
just
must have
looking at
missed it.
Oh, shut up now.
No, don't. Chrissy,
I'm supposed to be in the future, actually.
So, yeah,
I'm not meant to be behind.
We can do Luca next week if you guys want to, but yeah, I don't want to go into anything about that.
What are we going to look into next week? Do we know yet?
What? Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Why?
Because I just said we can do Luca next week if you guys want, but I don't want to touch on anything about it tonight.
Okay, what? You talk too fast. I'm an old man. No. Okay, Luca, fine. Good. Now, I can say I have to research way deeper and better because Chrissy always knows so much more than I do. And nothing wrong with that, but it bothers me.
Hey, I've got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Do you reckon they were worthy of the Ken and Barbie killers tag? I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
No.
They didn't look like no Ken and Barbie to me.
No.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I guess that's what the media, I looked it
projected.
Up. The media had that in the newspapers when it came out almost 30 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Ken and Barbie. That's how I knew about this case when Chrissy and I decided we'd set our sights on a Canadian crime because
they would call them the Kardashians today.
Are they Canadian? They're not.
No, but just as murderers. I don't know how many people hung themselves just watching that show. Disney Plus picked it up. Did you know? Kardashians is a Disney franchise for about a month.
Well, that's a crime in itself, I suppose. We're talking true crime, so all
Amen
right.
to that. Amen. From a Canadian to Australian. What is the US doing?
Okay, so
Sorry.
no, I don't want to. Never mind. I'll ask it behind the scenes after we end this
Who's
thing.
Rupert? Hello, Rupert.
Hi,
Welcome
Rupert.
to the
He's here
stream.
they're here every
Hi,
week.
Rupert.
Every week.
Okay.
He
made it.
Right at the end. Thanks for coming.
No, but you leave the stream up, right? A lot of people will rewatch.
Oh yes, the stream will stay up. I don't never.
Yes.
No, I don't take them down unless I get, bombed or something, which I haven't yet.
Hold on, I'll just do it. I'll just do a titty pic, and then it'll get. And then
I'll edit it.
Frank just started masturbating in the car listening to us. Claire,
I'm just being silly.
You can edit that out, Chrissy.
No, I don't want to. It takes too much to edit something out.
Actually,
but I meant it too.
For a massive case across a lot of years, I think we covered it pretty well.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had a lot of background that I hadn't kind of researched.
I didn't know how bad it is till now. After the
Isn't it massive?
Oh man.
Rick. Rick said Claire just got my attention.
Just turn my camera on and do titty pics. Look at Rick.
Right.
Hey Rick.
God, I forgot what I was going to say now. Never mind. Oh yeah, because I'm the type of person that I'm also visual, like you guys were talking, like Claire, you were saying, where you want to watch the videos. I only watch one video. The rest of it I do Google searches and Wikipedia searches. And then what I take from there, I actually type it out. So that way it's in my brain because I'm typing it.
Yes.
So I type it out on a
like
program like Microsoft Word. And that way I get more of and then I go back over it. And then, I'm kind of anal about it. I go back over it and I put it into like a format where I, do bullets and dates and, all that good stuff. And then I print it and then I have it in front of me. So that's why it just seems like I have more, but because I just can't watch the video because I'll forget everything that I just watched. I have to actually
I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, I have to actually type it out and be like, oh, okay, this is where I got that. And then I print that to have it in front of me.
Yeah.
So.
No, it just shows how much we're passionate about it and the details and the craziness. Like, I think ever since we started, like, we've covered some crazy cases and they're just not someone stabbed a guy walking down a path. Like, they're serious cases.
Yeah,
and
this case, every man in Canada is a potential rapist to me. Just you better watch out, people.
Yeah,
this is just I've never heard of this case, and I know it was bad when I came in, but now with all the information on top of it, it's so much worse, and we probably don't even know how bad it is.
Exactly. We're only commenting on what we can research and what we know.
Yes.
And it's
that's like that. Was it the first case, Mr. Cruel, Claire, where I had that crazy person commenting on all of the video? I mean, every time I turned around, there was you guys got this wrong. It was actually this, and this, and we're like, oh my God, really? They even came.
Maybe Paul has internet access in jail.
Yeah, they were even in the chat arguing with us, and we're like, we're pulling the information. It's not like I'm there and can interview somebody from way back then or whatever. We're pulling it out of Google and Wikipedia and things like that. So
we're going off the information we have. Like,
Chrissy, you cover true crime like no one else I know, and I love it. End of story.
Yeah. Props to Chrissy.
Totally. It's my
drama.
It's what I like. It's what I like. I don't really necessarily like talking to people, not necessarily like you guys, but I have a fear of public speaking. But that's why I'll never turn my camera on. Y'all can forget that ever.
That's fine.
Yeah, but
I know you're beautiful. You don't have to prove it to me. You're no catfish.
No.
You're married, and you have neighbors you play cards with. How did this go, Chrissy? Did you make up again?
No, we have not.
Oh, good for you. I'm
Right.
gonna play cards with you online.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I have a very bad fear of public speaking. I'm actually pretty shy. I know it doesn't come across like that, but I am. I'm very shy. I don't talk to strangers. I don't leave my house. What am I saying?
Maybe it's a healthy restraint Claire and I should have.
I mean, it's been like this since I was a teenager. I mean, I remember my the first I went to a community college, and it was for criminal law, and we had to do this report, and I'm like, oh, I love doing reports. Well, we brought it in that day, and the instructor looked at us and says, okay, who's first? We're going to get up and read our reports. And I'm like, no. I instantly started sweating. I turned pale. I put my report on my desk, and I grabbed my bags, and I walked out and never went back. I couldn't do it. So, yeah.
Don't feel bad about it. You telling us what we need to know now. End of story.
Yeah. I mean, I get to stuttering, and I get repetitive, and it's not a very good speaker.
No, but I think what we're covering and what we've done, it's not like headline cases, and they're still intriguing to look back retrospectively. It's my favorite word at the moment, but just to see what's going on, and
so I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Rupert.
No, that's okay.
He likes to talk to my nightbot.
Yeah, I saw. Love you, babes.
He does that all the time. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's because of that, Claire, that it's much more interesting, because there's not 20 other huge channels covering it, and everyone's got different information, and they're fighting over, who's right and who's wrong, and that's not what the kind of true crime I want to do. I want to do this.
You don't do fundraisers. You don't board a bus and go down there and yell at the animals on the property someone got killed.
Right. I don't attend these churches or funerals. I just, hell, I don't do any of that, and I like it like that. I like this aspect of it, where I can grab an old case, like a serial killer, like we've been doing, and just research it and talk about it. And that's what we're set out to do. And this is how I like it. So.
And this guy was a serial killer in the end. Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to do Ivan Milat one time.
We got what now? Sorry, what?
Oh, we got to do Ivan Milat. He's an Australian.
I've got that on my list. I've got the the other one. What's the one I kept telling you about? It was Australia. Something family.
Can't think of it. But he was a serial killer, Ivan Milat. Backpacker Murders. I don't know if Ing's heard of it, but yeah.
Was he a backpacker, or did he kill backpackers?
He killed
backpackers.
Oh, okay.
Killed them. So, Australia is a place to come and hang out and go to the beach and explore the country. And he just killed a lot of people. He killed a German as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. I hope it was a cousin of mine, so I don't have to shoot the bastard. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
I moved out of Germany
to get rid of
him.
What was that, Chrissy?
I'm still looking for the name of this one. It was one of the first ones that I mentioned to you that I wanted to cover, and we still haven't gotten to it.
Was it an Australian one?
Yes.
Not any hobby.
No, it was something the family murders. I don't want to tell any details about it in case we do decide to.
Don't jump ahead, Chrissy. I told you.
Yeah, sharp. The sharp family murders. There it is.
Oh, sharp.
The sharp family
Chrissy's
murders.
always jumping ahead. Oh my god.
I swear I'm going to send you guys my timeline next time. So.
Oh yeah. No, I will learn from this. I'm sorry I came up, but
Yeah.
No, you're
it's
not.
always fun with the ladies.
I will try not to miss the next one. I saw a notification earlier and then forgot. Yeah, 10 o'clock every Friday night. If you're
Rupert,
in America.
thank you for coming, Rupert.
Yeah. I'm interested in learning more about some of this. I have surface knowledge of some serial killers like Bundy, Ramirez, and Kemper, stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, we've been mostly in Australia, and we did a few United States, and today we decided to go to Canada. So.
Yeah.
And we might just keep flogging Canada next week.
Yeah. Is that what this one's from? The cat one?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll be in Canada again next week. And then we're going to do the Sharp family because I love that one.
Okay.
So we got to get that one in.
Or Shark?
Sharp.
Family.
SHARPE.
I never heard of it.
The Sharp Family Murders.
But
I'll
that's up
send you
next
the
week. Next
one
week we
video
do
that I
Luke.
have on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's clear. It's in. I may as well. Oh no! Did I scroll up? I did. Damn it! I may as well add Ing to our true crime channel.
Oh, Ing, you're in.
Thank you.
Ing is in.
Yeah, this is. I only made it like this because that's where her and I were able to.
Listen to me. Absolutely, it's your ladies' live stream, and I'm honored every time you let me up, Chrissy. You will lose subscribers if you put me in.
Ing is a lady too.
We need to advertise more and get more people in here.
Yeah.
It will grow slowly. You know, if you have like an influx of 100 subs, they won't stay a month.
Yeah.
It's one at a time.
Yeah.
But
We'll
you know,
get
the
that
fun
up.
thing is, like, this is like just Chrissy and I sitting back talking. Like, it's just like discussing a case and having perspective and finding out what you know that I don't know and all those other things. So it's quite relaxing and enjoyable. Like, so
yeah, you've already noticed that I can't do two things at once. So I can't read the chat.
And you shouldn't. You know, you concentrate on the subject matter, and that's it.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Ian, I thought we were going to relegate you to the chat, but welcome aboard, buddy.
Thank you for having me, Claire.
Joking. I'm just stirring you.
Yeah.
My best friends have banned me, so I'm just waiting for it. No, I will behave.
Yeah,
I'm an old man, but I learn more every day.
Yeah, you're not. I don't want you to feel obligated to always be here every Friday night, but if you're welcome.
That's a nice way to say, why don't you just get a life?
Shut up.
I will always be up here if you want me, I will be.
If I allow it, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll leave it up clear.
We know you run the show. You and Frank. Thank God he didn't come in live chat today. Otherwise, we had to kick someone.
Actually, you're right. Actually, he didn't come in here, and Chrissy had to cuss him out and tell him to behave.
Yes. Thank God finally he takes some advice, right? Chrissy? No, I love Frank. No, the thing is, true crime is actually a hobby of mine ever since.
What's your most favorite case, Ing, that you've ever?
The most famous case is...
Or favorite for you in
yes.
true crime. Yeah.
And because I was very young when it all went down. Well, actually, it happened before, but the actual, like, to know what really happened came out in the 70s and the 40s. And it is actually a movie. And it's the exorcism of Emily Rose. That happened to a woman in a Bavarian village outside of Nuremberg.
I'm impressed
she was
because
possessed by a demon, and she did horrible things. And the priest that was conducting the exorcism, Bavaria is a Catholic country, not only just a state in Germany, it's a Catholic country. And they thought Well, the thing is, he killed her.
Mm.
But he says it was an exorcism. That what brought me into true crime. And I was like,
You're actually
8-9 years
crossing genres, but I like it because
No,
it's true
it's a
crime
true
and
crime in
paranormal.
Germany.
Yeah,
You
but
know
it's
what?
also paranormal. So they're
Mhm.
two of my passions, and Chrissy as well.
Yes,
So
Mhm.
and
that's
there's
interesting.
more out there than we know.
Interesting.
Have you ever seen the movie about the devil? Like it's Eric Bana, who is a cop
Oh,
in
he's
New York,
Australian.
and he
Eric
also
Bana.
was
It's not
involved
Bana.
into a case. Yeah, he's Australian. That's right, Eric Bana.
He's the Hulk.
He's the Hulk. Yes, he was the first Hulk ever. Yes, you're absolutely right. However, he plays this police officer in New York who got involved into a case that had to do with demonic possession. And there was this one Catholic priest that helped him through it. And after the case was over, he retired and actually worked with this Catholic priest since to go after cases like that.
Mm.
Like
And that's
you know,
like your
that
anchor
Catholic-
point. That's your like that was where you started
This
to
is
really
fascinating because
pursue true crime.
it was turned into a movie.
Mhm.
It is still true crime, and it happened.
Mm.
You know, it's my and this Catholic priest said, when it comes down to possession, 5 to 10% are real. The rest is all bullshit. There's so much bullshit out there that when something real happens, people are not that alert to it because they say, it's just another movie. But real life. I'm sorry, Chrissy.
Chrissy, can I ask you the same question? Like, what
Yeah.
what was your like one thing that you saw that you went, yeah, I want to understand true crime. Like, I'm interested. Like,
I don't know. I really don't.
because it's been so much. Yeah.
When you gotta know, like, my background. I was, like I already mentioned, I was going to school for criminology.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was a police explorer where I did ride-alongs and everything with the police officers, and I experienced a whole lot of different crimes and stuff like that. So it started way back then for me.
How old were you? Just not giving anything away. In your teens?
Yeah. We started it like at 15 and went all the way through 18.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I sent her a graduation gift last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was I was actually going into the military to be a MP.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I chickened out. I went to the ceremony where they say raise your right hand, and I walked out the other door. I couldn't do it.
Why? Can you relate why?
Because I couldn't leave my mom. I was a mama's girl.
Makes sense.
I couldn't do it. I just could not leave. I was the baby of the family. I was closest to my mother, and I just couldn't leave her. I just couldn't do it. And I'm glad I didn't, but
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, Chrissy's mom did a lot for her.
Yeah. No, my mom and I were like best friends, so I just couldn't do it. I bawled my eyes out just thinking of having to go to basic training away from her and then maybe going overseas. And, no, I didn't want to do that. So I chickened out and then decided I was just going to go into actual law enforcement instead, and then screwed my knee up playing basketball. And that ended it all. So.
Well, I'm glad I met you. And that we will be here every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for everyone.
10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Oh, it's 7 Western Time. Like my son is still up. No, it's not today. It's
what time is it for you right now? In
8:39 p.m. So it's we still have daylight. We still have daylight.
Oh, because it's summer.
He's 3 hours behind me.
Yeah, it's summer. All right.
But awesome. So this turned into.
I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
My thing about true crime, my interest in true crime came from an Australian case, and I don't know if y'all want to look it up, but it was the killing of a nurse on her way home from hospital, and her name was Anita Cobby, and she was only like, she was a beauty queen, and she was on the train on the way home, and yeah, she was violently killed and had very bad things done to her. And I, at the time, was only a teenager, and this is one of the reasons I did martial arts, which, if you go back 2 videos with Chrissy, Ding came up with the Deal with the Devil video that we did, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, that's really bad. And then I started researching the case, and that was my personal interest in true crime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't want that to happen to me. Like, I was a young girl at the time, and I'm just like, whew. So, in my opinion, information is power, knowledge is better. And so I researched the crime, tried to understand it, and I went and did martial arts to protect myself because I was freaked out. But I really enjoy understanding what you guys.
The opening case was that nurse, or was it a nurse or a nun?
She was a nurse.
A nurse.
She was a nurse.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a nurse.
I'm trying to look it up.
Anita Cobby, Cobby. It's a horrific case. It's horrific in Australian crime. But I think
we haven't covered it yet.
No, we haven't. Well, we got a list, Ing.
Yeah, but if that was your first,
we've got a listing.
Listing, that's fucking hilarious.
We got a listing.
But Chrissy, if that was the case she got into true crime, maybe let's look at it. Let's see what happens.
Oh, we'll put it on the list. Literally.
Yes.
Put it on. But I think we're still going to crucify Canada.
And you know what? Please hit me hard. I have to know where I'm living here because this is not making sense.
Hey, by the way, are you anywhere near Scarborough or St. Catharines or Vancouver?
No.
Oh, okay.
To fly from here to Ontario is half the flight time going to Germany because you go almost over the North Pole. So it's a 4-5 hour flight to Toronto and 10 hours to Germany.
Are you east and that's west?
I'm west, Vancouver.
Oh, you're west. Okay.
Yes, all the way.
Oh my gosh, I've got to learn my geography.
There's nothing more west than I am.
Okay. Oh, so Vancouver? Is Vancouver west?
Yes.
Oh, thank God I know something about Canadian geography. Okay.
Well, Vancouver was a Dutch captain who actually came here.
Vancouver,
yeah. He was a Dutch captain. Those Dutch living below the sea level.
And I'm east.
Yep.
Well,
east side.
Yeah.
So you're the odd one out there, Ing.
But your east is closer to my west than Chris's east to
Oh my God, discombobulate my brain right now. How dare you?
Do the math, Claire. Jesus Christ.
Look, I can do 7 + 4. I know.
Well, sure. That's 12, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's 13.
Hey, in Canada, you have to pay GST and PST, so it's always more than you think it is.
Are you tired, Chrissy?
Yeah, I think it's time to end. We're getting way off topics here, so
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we're doing like an after stream in the stream, but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, no,
it's been great.
Yeah, I just want to end the topic we're talking about, and then if we want to carry on, we can do another stream because that way, when somebody goes to rewatch, they don't have all of this nonsense at the end.
She's so professional, Ing. Oh my God, I love her. She's so professional.
You know, I mean, I know
Chrissy
if I go to watch videos,
shit, Claire, just
and I
listen and learn. sorry.
If I go to watch videos and I see 2-3 hour video, I'm not watching it. It's too much for
Oh.
Me neither.
Perfect
what I'm saying?
point. She's got a
So
point. End it
that's
now.
why I want to stick to what we're talking
You're
about.
right. She's
and then
right.
if we gonna keep continuing to talk about the case, that's fine. But when we get totally off a topic, it just drags the whole thing out, and people are gonna be like, "I'm not watching that."
Although, on a final point, on a closing point, thank you, Chrissy. It's been a pleasure. Everyone's got tap, tap, fast forward, tap, tap, fast forward.
Well,
I would watch 3-hour streams if they had this option to do it double speed. 1.75 is not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
All right, it's been a pleasure.
I think it's probably a personal preference. I just like to cut it off after the case, and we can always bullshit on an after show if we'd like. But
oh, Chrissy, you
Claire,
changed your name from Chrissying.
I did. Thank you very much.
How dare you?
Thank you for having me, ladies. Both of you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, chat.
Thank
for
you
being
so much.
Here. Appreciate the support. Share it out. Get the like. And we'll see you next Friday again at 10 p.m.
We will.
Amen. Bye.
All right. Peace.